Timberlands, helicopters, and Tetris. What could possibly connect these things? It's hard to find a common thread, isn't it? Well, I know what ties these unrelated things together.
Tetris. It doesn't matter who you are.
They were all created by immigrants from Russia. For the past 150 years, Russia has consistently ranked among the top countries for immigration. And I am not exception in that case. Hi, I'm Ksenia Stratonova. I was born and raised in Russia, but now I find myself to be an immigrant for the second time. Currently, I live and work in Spain, where over 94,000 Russian immigrants reside. This makes me wonder how many immigrants have come from my country. How many incredible things and events have occurred thanks to those who dare to leave their familiar behind in search of self-expression, achieving their goals and offering the world new ideas. Let's find out together. And if you're still not subscribed, you can do it now. Over the last 150 years, I would highlight 5 ways of Russian immigration. The term Russian in this context applies not only to ethnic Russians, but also to representatives of other ethnic groups who inhabited the Russian Empire or the Soviet Union, for whom Russian was the primary means of communication in their households. The first wave of immigrants was before the revolution. This wave spanned from roughly 1880 to 1917. It primarily consisted of individuals and groups feeling the religious persecution at home. This included Jews and various Christian sects that split from the Russian Orthodox Church. A significant portion of this group was made of Jews, whose immigration was largely driven by a wave of pogroms in Russia following the assassination of Alexander II in 1881. According to official data, from 1881 to 1910, 2,315,000 people immigrated to the United States alone. Most Russians arriving in the United States between 1880s and 1910s became part of industrial workplace. The Russian presence in certain professions was so profound that they formed their own unions, such as the Society of Russian Shoemakers. A prominent example of one such shoemaker is Natan Schwartz. Natan Schwartz was born in 1902 in Odessa into a family of Jewish shoemakers. His father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were all shoemakers, so it's no surprise that Natan followed in their footsteps. Fleeing from the pogroms, the family moved into the United States, where Natan began his career as an apprentice in a New York shoe workshop. In 1952, he purchased 50% of the shares of the Abington Shoe Company in Massachusetts, which was later renamed Timberland. Success came after Schwartz developed a new sewing technology, allowing leather to be bonded to the sole without making seams, making them waterproof. In 1978, the company was officially renamed Timberland & Co. And today, the iconic orange Timberlake boots are recognized worldwide. And this name you definitely heard before. Maximilian Faktorovich. No? But what if I say it a little differently? Max Factor?
My factor is how I see people for who they are. My factor is my eyebrow. My factor is my sense of humor. My factor is my eyes, my drive, my cheekbones, my smile.
Max Factor.
Maximilian Faktorovich was born in 1877 to a poor Jewish family in Lodzi, which was part of the Russian Empire, but now it's Poland. From the age of 8, he worked as an assistant pharmacist and makeup artist in a traveling theater, where he learned to mix paints from the materials he had available. At 14, he became a makeup artist at the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow and later a cosmetic artist for the Romanov court. His talent transformed faces into works of art, but anti-Semitic laws forced him to flee. In 1904, Max, adopting the name Factor, arrived in New York and 5 years later opened a tiny shop called Max Factor and Company in Los Angeles. Hollywood, then still black and white, became his canvas. Actresses complained that traditional theatrical makeup melted under their bright stage lights, turning faces into masks. Max invented flexible makeup, a lightweight cream powder that wouldn't crack even after 40 takes. Factor created the first waterproof mascara, eyebrow pencils, and a lipstick in a tube. He coined the term makeup and classified face types to ensure that every single actor shone perfectly. His clientele included all the biggest stars of Hollywood. For the film Frankenstein, in 1931, he developed gelatin-based wounds, and in 1938, he introduced the first makeup for color films. In 1929, Max received an honorary Oscar for his contributions to the film industry. His company became the official supplier of cosmetics of the Academy, and later for the Miss Universe. Even after his death in 1938, his legacy lived on. His sons continued the business, and the Max Factor brand became an icon of the beauty industry.
From Max Factor, the makeup of makeup artists.
So, okay, since we're talking about Hollywood, we cannot forget few individuals who were foundational in creating some of the largest and the most influential film companies. Louis Mayer, born Lazarus Yakovlevich Mayer, hailed from Minsk, Belarus, in the Russian Empire. He became one of the founders of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science. Simply put, the Oscars. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I was dreaming it. And have you heard about the Banskalasser brothers? No? Oh, sorry. Warner Brothers? Yes, they're immigrants too. Born in a village of Krasnoselty in the Russian Empire, now it's Poland. The Warner Brothers, who after moving into the United States, founded Warner Brothers, which gifted us cinematic masterpieces like Harry Potter, The Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, and many more. Have you heard this song before? This song is considered the unofficial anthem of the United States. And do you know who wrote it? Yes. You guessed correctly. An immigrant from the Russian Empire. Irving Berlin, or Israel Moiseyevich Beilin, was born in Siberia in the city of Tyumen. In September of 1893, Irving's family arrived in New York. After losing his father at an early age and only attending school for 2 years, he went to work. The future composer worked as a delivery boy and a newspaper boy. In a cafe in New York's Chinatown, he earned a reputation as a singing waiter. At the cafe owner's request, Berlin wrote his first song, Mary from Sunny Italy. The author's fee was 37 cents, which is approximately $380 today. This marked the beginning of his incredible career. Throughout his life, Berlin composed around 1,500 songs. His hits include Putting on the Ritz,
Code Perfect Fit,
Chick to Chick,
together dancing cheek to cheek.
White Christmas, and of course, God Bless America, which he wrote in 1918 upon gaining U.S. citizenship. The Russian Revolution of 1917 changed countless lives. According to various estimates, over 5 million people left Russia between 1918 and 1924. Many of these immigrants initially hoped to return after the collapse of the communist regime, but ultimately they were forced to adapt and assimilate into America's life. But that punch gave a lot of immigrants new wings to fly high, like to our next character who got the wings literally and figuratively speaking.
I never dropped the idea of the flying machine that could go straight up in the air and could land gently with no forward speed.
Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky was born in 1889 in Kiev, Russian Empire, now Ukraine. From a young age, he was fascinated by aviation, inspired by tales of Leonardo da Vinci and the Wright brothers. In 1913, he created the world's first multi-engine airplane, the Russian Knight, and later Ilya Muromets, which laid the groundwork for the first bombers. After the October Revolution in 1917, Sikorsky, as a former officer, found himself under threat. A former colleague warned Igor, "I saw the order of your execution." Sikorsky decided to immigrate. First he went to France and then to United States, starting a new life with only $600 in his pocket. In 1923, Sikorsky founded Sikorsky Aircraft. The early years were difficult. He taught mathematics and astronomy to make ends to meet. But in 1928, his company released the successful S-38 aircraft used for transport and exploration. In the 1930s, Sikorsky focused on developing helicopters. In 1939, he introduced the VS-300, the first partial helicopter with a single main rotor.
Here are motion pictures of the historic moment in September 1939 when the Sikorsky helicopter was first flown.
This invention became a foundation for the modern helicopter technology. So we're talking about technologies, right? And we all like to watch TV from time to time. But do you know who invented TV? Yes. An immigrant from Russia. Vladimir Zworykin was born in 1888 in Murom, Russian Empire. From a young age, he was fascinated by technology and science. In 1918, Zworykin was nearly executed just for searching for some radio components in a territory occupied by Red Army. But he was saved by the timely arrival of a White Army. After this, Zworykin decided to leave his homeland. He immigrated to the United States via Siberia and Japan. In America, he began a new life working for Westinghouse Electric. In 1923, Zworykin patented the iconoscope, the first electronic television transmitting tube. In 1921, he joined RCA, Radio Corporation of America, where he continued his innovations. A couple years later, he introduced the kinescope, a receiving tube that completed the creation of a fully electronic television system. In 1937, Zworykin created the first color television with 3 color lenses, red, green, and blue. And in the 1940s, he worked with James Heeler to develop the scanning electron microscope. During World War II, he developed night vision devices and compact television cameras. Zworykin holds over, think about it, 120 American patents for various inventions. He received numerous awards, including the National Medal Scientist from President Lyndon Johnson in 1967 for his scientific contributions.
By television, we can see the things which is impossible to see normally with our eye.
Something which was too far, too close, too dangerous, or too impossible to see at all. Television can do it.
From one famous immigrant off-screen to another one whose work is famous on-screen. Mikhail Alexandrovich Chekhov was born in 1891 in St. Petersburg, Russian Empire. He was nephew of Natan Chekhov and was immersed in a world of art from a young age. he studied at the Moscow Art Theater under Konstantin Stanislavski, becoming one of the most talented actors of his generation. After the revolution, Chekhov remained in Russia, but his conflict with the Soviet regime due to his religious beliefs and independent character led to persecution. In 1928, he immigrated to Germany and later moved to the United States. In America, Chekhov became a legend in theater and cinema. He founded the Mikhail Chekhov Acting Studio in Hollywood, where he taught his unique acting technique. His students included Marilyn Monroe, Clint Eastwood, Yul Brynner, and many other stars. For example, Jack Nicholson is still following Chekhov methods. Speaking of creativity, we cannot forget the great composer Sergey Rachmaninoff. Sergey was born in Novgorod province in the Russian Empire. Born into a musical family, Rachmaninoff began learning piano at age 4. He studied piano and composition at the Moscow Conservatory, from which he graduated, having already written several compositions. In 1909, he gave his first tour in the USA, but then revolution happened and Rachmaninoff had to leave Russia permanently, settling in New York. In America, Rachmaninoff became one of the most talented pianists and composers. His concerts drew a large crowd, and his music touched the hearts of millions. Despite his success, he launched for Russia and struggled to write new music for some time. His circle consisted mainly of Russians, and he made an effort to support his compatriots abroad. For example, he once helped Sikorsky during a financial crisis by sending him a check for $5,000, which allowed Sikorsky to continue his developments. Despite his nostalgia for his homeland, he was an immigration that Rachmaninoff created his greatest legacy. His works are now part of the repertoire of the world's most famous pianists, and recordings of his performances serve as a benchmark for musicians from various countries and schools. The tip of the tongue, taking a trip of 3 steps down the palate to top, and 3 on the teeth. Lo, li, ta. Who doesn't know this novel? And who doesn't know by whom it was written by? Vladimir Nabokov was born in 1899 in St. Petersburg to a wealthy aristocratic family. From a young age, he was fluent in 3 languages, Russian, English, and French, and he was passionate about ethnology and literature. After the revolution, the Nabokov family fled Russia, losing all their entire fortune. Initially, Nabokov lived in Europe, England, Germany, and France, where he wrote in Russian. In 1940, after escaping the Nazis, he moved into the United States. In America, Nabokov began writing in English and taught Russian literature. In 1955, one of the 20th century most popular novels, Lolita, was published, bringing Nabokov worldwide fame. He was nominated for the Nobel Prize 8 times. His novels have been adapted into films and staged in theaters. You might think that after the revolution, quiet and calm times came to Russia? No. Let's move to the third wave of immigration starting from 1965. This wave occurred during the post-war period in the dissolution of the USSR. During this time, around 500,000 people left the country, despite the fact that it was almost impossible to leave USSR. Here is an example of such a defector, or, as they call them in USSR, a non-returnee, Mikhail Baryshnikov, or as he known in America, our Misha. Mikhail was born in Riga to Russian parents. He began studying ballet at an early age. His career took off in the 70s during the stagnation years of the USSR. On the surface, Baryshnikov had all the hallmarks of a successful Soviet citizen: an apartment, a car, recognition of his talent, and of course, his fame. But the very fact that he was living into Soviet Union was at odds with his nature. In 1974, while on tour in Canada, Baryshnikov decided to stay abroad. This choice not only marked an act of bravery, but also the beginning of a new life. He quickly established himself as one of the greatest dancers in the world. His unique style and choreography attracted the attention of critics and audiences worldwide. In the United States, Baryshnikov collaborated with leading ballet companies such as the New York City Ballet and became one of the most famous dancers in his generation. He not only performed, but also created his own projects, including dance theaters and support for new choreographers. His work helped expand the boundaries of classical ballet, incorporating elements of modern dance, making it more accessible to a broader audience. Additionally, Baryshnikov showcased his talent in film and theater. He appeared in several movies and TV shows, including the famous film White Nights and the popular series Sex and the City, where he played a key role. His charisma and talent won the hearts of viewers, making him not only a symbol of dance, but also a cultural icon. Classical ballet is a castle of beauty. These lines are dedicated to Mikhail from his compatriot, by the way, also an immigrant from USSR, Joseph Brodsky. Like Baryshnikov, Brodsky taught freedom and self-expression, but his path lay in the world of words and ideas. Joseph Brodsky was born on 24th of May 1940 in Leningrad. From a young age, he was passionate about poetry. But his talent went largely unnoticed for a long time. In 1964, Brodsky was arrested for parasitic lifestyle, can you believe it, due to his refusal to conform to government demands. Subsequently, he was forced to immigrate, and in 1972, he moved to the United States. There, his poetry began to attract attention, finally, and soon he became one of the most influential poets of his time, receiving the Nobel Prize in 1987. Brodsky actively taught, inspiring a new generation of poets, and his works continue to live on, exploring deep reflections on life and existential questions.
Человек не то, не сумма того, во что он верит, на что он уповает, не сумма своих убеждений. Человек — сумма своих поступков.
The next outstanding immigrant is Sergey Brin. He was born in Moscow, but in 1979, his family immigrated into the United States when Sergey was only 6 years old. As a student at the Stanford University, Brin, along with Larry Page, developed a search engine that eventually became Google. Their innovations not only transformed the way information accessed, but also created one of the most influential companies in the world, significantly impacting technology and business. But even the end of the USSR era didn't put an end of immigration. After the collapse of the USSR, the fourth wave started to rise. It occurred between 1989 and 2000. After the onset of perestroika, citizens of the USSR gained the ability to travel abroad almost without restrictions. According to official data, in those ages, 1.26 million people left Russia for permanent residence in countries outside the former USSR. Well, among those people was Alexey Pajitnov. Alexey was born in Moscow and showed an early interest in mathematics and computers. After finishing school, he enrolled in the Moscow Institute of Foreign Languages, but soon realized that his true passion was programming. In the 70s, Alexey began his career in the Institute of Measurement Instruments, where he developed a software. It was here in 1984 that he conceived the idea of creating a simple and engaging game. And Tetris was born. The game quickly gained popularity among Alexey colleagues and soon spread beyond the institute. However, like many other Soviet achievements, Tetris faced copyright issues. Alexey did not receive financial benefits from his invention, as the game was distributed without his consent on various platforms. Nevertheless, its popularity soared and Tetris soon became a phenomenon. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, Alexey immigrated to the United States, where he continued his career in the video game industry. He founded his own company and worked on new projects, further developing the gaming world. Today, Tetris is one of the most recognizable video games in history, and Alexey Pajitnov has become a symbol of creativity and innovation. His work has inspired many developers, and the game continues to delight millions of people worldwide. This wave is a result of political and social changes that have occurred in Russia, particularly military conflicts and economic instability. According to various estimates, between February 2022 and now, an approximate of 500,000 people to 1.3 million have left Russia. Many were seeking a safer life, opportunities for education, and work outside their country. This wave of immigration includes not only people from Russia, but also individuals from neighboring countries who dream of a better future. During this time, we see new communities forming around the world as immigrants contribute to the culture and economy of their host countries. Many of those who left Russia have found success in their new homes, starting businesses, continuing their academic research, or creating art. Their stories remind us that even in the toughest times, we can find new paths for self-expression and achievement. The story of Russian immigration is not just about facts and dates. It's about the vibrant lives of individuals who overcome challenges in pursuit in their dreams and aspirations. From Alexey Pajitnov, who created Tetris, to Mikhail Baryshnikov, who became a symbol of dance, each of these individuals have shown that courage and creativity can change the world. These stories inspire us to remember that even in the most difficult circumstances, we can find ways to succeed and express ourselves. Ultimately, immigration is not just movement from one country to another. It's about the search for opportunities that can lead into the creation of something great. Let's each of us remember that regardless our origins, we all have the power to leave our mark on this world and make it a better place. Well, let me know what do you think about this video in the comments. Do you have a friend who is an immigrant, or maybe you're one, like me? In any case, I will appreciate your support. You can subscribe to Patreon or Boosty, or simply follow my channel. Give this video a like and share if you want others to hear the story. Thank you for watching KISS. See ya!